I generally like to think that even though I am a huge Bulls fan like all of us, I am biased towards my team, and at the same time I'd also like to think that I am realistic in managing expectations of my team. And some may view that as being negative or taking a contrarian approach, which is fine if you feel that way, but every so often I like to take a step back and view this from a lens of an unbiased non-Bulls fan, or at least as much as I can anyway, because we all know it's hard to remain completely unbiased when you're a fan of a certain team. But recently, I have seen countless memes, GIFs, photos, comments from Bulls fans that got me thinking, are we getting a little ahead of ourselves in the expectations of this new look Bulls team going into next season? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So yes, we are still in the middle of free agency, and of course trade season is also in high gear, so obviously things are still going to be subject to change with this Bulls roster at the time of this recording. But the core moves of the Bulls, bringing in Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, have been made so we can have a good understanding anyway, of pretty much assume of what this core is going to look like heading into next season. Now, obviously, as Bulls fans, this is huge for us. This is the first time in a long time where we can say that we are a relevant franchise again with the level of talent that we have on this roster. And naturally, we're going to be excited. We're going to come out shouting from the mountaintops and rub it in the faces of all those fans who have been clowning the Bulls over the years under the old regime of Garpax. We're finally making aggressive moves, and I absolutely love it. Free agents want to join Chicago rather than wanting to leave the team because of everything that had been going on during the years back when Garpax were running things. I mean, free agents didn't even want to join back when they were being run in the early 2010s, when we actually had a decent team with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and Luol Deng. So I applaud this front office for completely changing the culture of this team in a matter of just one season and showing that they're going to operate like a big market franchise and actually compete to win and not settle for mediocrity. So I love this, and I am excited, as we all should be. That being said, when I see images like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, also, can I just say, whoever made this one, this is absolutely hilarious and did a great Photoshop job there on Garpax. But anyway, the point being, look, I get that we're excited. Like I just said, this is the first time in a long time where we are relevant again. The first time in a while where we're actually going to have a good team. And I'm sure some of these memes were more just jokes than anything, but we have to be honest with ourselves that even though the recent moves are great and the Bulls definitely will be a better team than they were, the fact of the matter is this team, this new look Bulls team, still hasn't played a single game together. Not even a preseason game, okay? And so to instantly say that we're going to be title contenders because of these moves is a little premature, to say the least. Again, I don't mean to sound negative, because I'm more so just trying to be realistic in my expectations of this team, and it certainly will be a top team in the East. But we really have to see how this team plays together before we start considering them to be title contenders. A few things we need to consider when we look at this roster, and I've talked about this briefly before, but the Bulls have a lot of talent. There's no question about that. And you have two All-Stars in Lavine and Vucevic. You have DeMar DeRozan, who I still consider to be an All-Star, even though he hasn't been selected as an All-Star since 2018. And of course, Lonzo Ball, who is a great playmaker and showed a lot of improvement in his game last season with the Pelicans. That said, though, the fit itself with these main four guys is still a bit questionable. I'm not saying that it can't work or that it won't work, but if you're looking at this from a non-Bulls fan perspective, this seems like a bit of a hodgepodge of talent that look great on paper, but putting that together on the court and working on both ends of the floor may be another story. I think the biggest question mark here is on defense. I do like the pickup of Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso for that reason, to give the Bulls the necessary perimeter defense needed. And of course, Patrick Williams is also a very capable defender. But Lavine, DeRozan, and Vucevic, their three best players, are not the best defenders. Incredible scorers, but not known for their defense. The other thing we have to consider here is that Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball have both never played a single playoff game in their careers. Now, you can say that was a product of circumstance, especially for Lavine anyway, that they just weren't in the best situations with the right level of support and talent around them to succeed in actually making the playoffs, which is true, but the fact remains they still have never played a single playoff game. Nikola Vucevic has also only made the playoffs twice in his whole career, and has been eliminated in the first round in both instances. Again, not saying that's all on Vucevic, but he was on the team, and he was the best player for a team for a good portion of those years in Orlando. And then, of course, DeMar DeRozan, same thing, hasn't had the best playoff success, mainly because the Raptors continue to run into LeBron James, which we as Bulls fans, we know how that goes. But DeRozan has also never made it past the second round. So all of these guys have never even made it to a conference finals. Now, I'm not saying that these guys playing together aren't capable of something like that, but rather, it's important to know that previous playoff experience is critical for success in the postseason. You can have a team with players that are very talented and have a stellar regular season, but it's a whole new ballgame in the playoffs, especially when you have players with limited playoff experience. Yes, I know you can say, well, look at the Suns this past season. Most of those guys outside of Chris Paul didn't have much playoff experience, and even CP3 himself had never even gone to a conference finals. But that's really a pretty big anomaly. What the Suns were able to do going from a lottery team to the finals is incredibly rare. Not even just in basketball, but across all of the major sports leagues. So that's why it gives me a little pause a bit when I see Bulls fans saying, we're back, we're title contenders, we're going to win a championship, because the fact of the matter is, we haven't seen how this team is going to perform. We haven't even seen them together in training camp. Let's at least wait for a month or two into the season and see how this team looks in terms of their chemistry, their efficiency on both ends of the floor, how they stack up against some of the best teams in the league in direct matchups. And then, if we want to start talking about being title contenders or at least strong contenders to make a deep playoff run, then yeah, I am okay with it, absolutely. For me, I am going to taper back my excitement and the hype of this team until we're about a month or two into the season. So I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer, because for Bulls fans, this is an exciting time and the best we have ever felt since the Derrick Rose era, where we felt like we had a great team, a team that was going to make some noise and was going to be exciting to watch. And we deserve to be excited and happy for so many bad years that we had to go through with nonsense moves from the front office and being the laughingstock of the NBA. We deserve to be excited and hyping this team. We deserve to be rubbing it in the faces of our friends who are fans of other teams and have been clowning the Bulls these past few seasons. All I'm saying is, we also have to manage expectations and understand there are still some question marks around how this team will in fact perform. And yes, I know this front office isn't done in rounding out this roster. There are still a lot of open roster spots. But as it stands right now, this is going to be a good team, a very good team, just purely based on the talent that they have, especially on offense. I mean, when you have three players who can score 20 plus points per game on a given night, you're going to be in good hands. They're going to be a great team. But I don't think we can go as far as to saying that this is going to be a title contending team. A title contending team meaning that there is a legitimate shot at winning a championship. Not for this upcoming season anyway. I'm not saying the Bulls can't eventually get there. I mean, that's what building a contending team is all about. It takes time to build, and it's not going to happen overnight. And the Bulls are certainly positioning themselves to get there by focusing on the now rather than through draft picks, and actually making themselves a free agency destination with the culture that this new front office is creating and the level of talent that they're building to make players actually want to come here. So yes, I am very happy. I'm happy about the direction this team is going, but I also know you don't know how a team is going to work together until you see them on the court. And I'm going to hold off on those expectations until I see this team start playing when the season begins. Let me know what you guys think, though. Maybe I'm being a bit too skeptical and need to just be happy and excited with the way that this team is heading. Do you guys feel that this team, as it stands right now, is a contending team? I'm actually very curious. I know there's been a lot of skepticism from the media and analysts, which some are absolutely ridiculous. I believe it was Chris Broussard who said that the Bulls will be lucky to compete for a play-in spot next year. Like, give me a break. That is just straight hating, horrible analysis, and just shock value take for views. It's part of the reason why I can't stand the mainstream media sometimes. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, though. As always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do upload daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.